time where we get into very serious conversation to improve ourselves as people and, of course, as business owners and those who are also getting into business right about now. Today, we'll be talking about brand positioning, and we have the CEO and the lead consultant of Masterclass Consulting. Julia is seated here with us. Kunadu, Osam. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
Woko. How's your tree going?
Kaka, kaka, kaka.
Okay,
so good to see you.
Oh, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Baby, want to say something?
Yeah. No, it's good to see you. I didn't know. No. Continue. I didn't know that, when we talked about brand positioning, I was like, okay. And here Julia is, so go on.
Oh, all right. And she chose the baton to me. So let's get straight in. What is branding, if you might say, and what really is it?
Okay, so branding pretty much is what your company represents. Okay, your logo. Positioning is pretty much the value that you bring to, that your organization, okay, brings to that customer. And pretty much why they need to purchase that product or service from you.
Oh, okay. So in doing that, how then do you start to position yourself in a place where people can notice you for what kind of service that you are giving?
Well, let me say, branding can be very tricky. I mean, in order for you yourself and your company to stand out, you and the internal stakeholders, which are the employees, you have to get them to see your vision and believing in that product, right? And when you are building a brand, you also have to look at, based on the type of industry that you're in, okay? Look at your other competitors and find out all of you are doing the same thing, right? But what makes you different from the others? So if you look at fast food chains, they're pretty much all doing the same thing. But what is going to separate you from the rest? What specialty do you bring to the table? So you have to put that in perspective, know who your and most importantly, who's your target audience? Who are you wanting to sell to? Okay, your particular product and service, you're not trying to capitalize on all clients, right? But it may be a segment of customers that you're trying to target. So you need to understand who your target audience is. You also need to be familiar with your competitors to find out what they're doing in the market. And so you can find out what makes you different from them. And then your value proposition as well. If I'm buying from you, there needs to be a reason. You need to give me a buy-in. Why I should purchase your outfit. What's so significant about it for me to purchase?
Fabrics Wholesale. The fabrics is unique. You can find it here anywhere.
Okay. And then costing too as well, communication-wise, all that goes into your branding positioning as well. But the main point is that you yourself as the owner have to believe in the product and service you're selling, and then getting your team to see the vision that that your company is trying to propose to the market they're trying to sell to.
You spoke about believe. That you, the person who is selling or giving out the service, has to believe in that product. How does one believe in their product? How does it start? What are the thought process that goes on to say, listen, this is going to work, this is going to make a headway? How does that begin?
Well, for any business owner that starts a business, right, it's your baby. You have to have a passion for the craft that you're doing, right? You can't just sit down and say, I'm just going to open it. It has to be a passion that you've had and the reasoning behind why you want to establish that business, right? Once you do that with the skill set that you have and the knowledge that you have, there's still further research that needs to go into play, right? Researching that particular product or service that you're wanting to bring to that new market. And as I mentioned previously too as well, you need to know who your customers are, which is your target audience. You need to know who your competitors. To make it more simplified, there needs to be a business plan in place, okay? Because with that business plan, it will tell anyone who wants to buy in your product or service the who, the what, the when, why. Which in a business plan also, with your branding, it discusses differentiation, segmentation, as I mentioned, which your target audience is, and comparative analysis too as well, which is your market share, determining what type of market you want to sell in and what's the competitive advantage.
Wow. Interesting.
A lot of information.
Well, maybe you want to say something.
I'll expand.
No, it's the way like her mouth is going. So I'm just watching them up and I was like,
Am I going
okay,
too fast?
Cool. Oh yeah,
Going a bit too fast.
No.
Okay, he just wants me to say something, so I will say something. You branding, maybe want to talk about what a good brand is. I get the differentiation part where you want to be unique, you want to stand out, you know, in whatever you're presenting to your customer. That is the brand positioning, where whatever it is, you want to be unique, you know, in the presentation to whatever it is to your customer. And then in getting all of that, you know, I'll be mixing the tree. So, yeah, they're ready. And in doing all of that, you have the differentiation where probably you want to segment, you want to differentiate, I want us to explain more of the differentiation where, you know, you want to niche, you want to do this, you want to do that. So then what is a good brand? If all that is in place, what is a good brand? Somebody would say that, okay, this is a good brand, this is not. What would you say a good brand is?
What I would say a good brand is making it very convenient, okay, for your clients to do business with you, possibly making your brand a one-stop shop. Okay. So, for example, I'll take in case in point maybe remittance services.
Okay.
You may have one company that specializes solely in mobile money services, right? But you have another company that, you know what, instead of us just retrieving mobile money service, let's look to make it a one-stop shop. Not only are we going to allow you to conduct business in terms of mobile money, but we can also look at you being able to do transfers. We can also look at you being able to receive your payroll. We can also look at you being able to send money not just within the particular market that you're in, but maybe outside. So it makes it more convenient for the client to do business with you, and it makes your brand stand out even more.
Okay, so what we are saying is that when a company is formed, they have to make sure that the needs of the customers are met in various ways.
Yes.
In various ways.
Yeah.
And, you know, well, okay, yes.
And when you say that, you made a very good point there. So to determine that, you have to look at the cost to satisfy the customer. You have to look at the convenience that it'll bring to the customer.
Okay.
You also look to have the communication, and also look at the customer's wants and needs.
Okay, now let's break it down. Now we're looking at the cost, meaning that it has to be affordable, not cheap. It has to be affordable. That's value, but it has to be affordable. And then we are looking at convenience, meaning that probably whichever way. I like companies where, you know, they retain the money. When you enter into that company, that money stays there. It's not coming out. There's no instance where we're telling you that, oh, we do not have the mobile money up, so we can't do this. Or then, oh, we don't do transfers here. You would have to go to the bank and do this and do that. So then you're entering into a company and you know that everything is going to be possible for you to make whatever transaction that you're on. Is that what we're saying?
Very correct.
Great. So then why is it important, you know, for a company to have a certain brand? Normally, a company will just take for granted that, okay, oh, we're good. Everybody, you know, knows us. We sell aluminium. You know, everybody knows us. They know aluminium is good, you know, but they do not keep up the brand. That is maybe in the market space. Even when you come into the entertainment industry and we talk about brand, people do not see the need to brand themselves in a certain way. They feel that it's being too much. But a lot of times we are hearing that branding yourself also puts value to you, and it can actually convert into more monies for you. And then respect, and then, you know, discipline, all of that. So then why is it important?
It's very important. Your brand represents who you are.
Who you are.
Okay? Right now, the shirt that you're wearing, Max TV, you're representing the brand.
Yes.
Right? It's very important because when you step out, they just don't know you as, they know, oh, that's so-and-so with Max TV. Okay? If someone sees me, that's Julia Kunadu Osam with Masterclass Consulting.
Okay.
You represent that brand, right? So you have to believe in the product and service that you're selling. And what makes me different from the others? I specialize solely in customer and employee experiences.
Okay.
And finding ways to achieve that to where your clients can, not only are your employees satisfied, and you're able to continuously retain them, but you're also able to retain the customers that you deal with. That's customer experience and employee experiences. You hardly find customer service consultancies that specialize in that. That's my niche, but there's additional products and services that I offer, which is consultancy and other additional training programs to make it a one-stop shop.
Okay, now maybe say at what point, and when I said yeah, and what said, will keep you up a good brand. We've spoken about the employer. I'm wearing a Max TV. I have a responsibility when I go out there because then when I'm in this gear, I might want to watch what I do and what I say and how I sell it, you know, because then whatever I do, it comes back here. Oh, where no share Max TV, free her. Once I know. But for me to be that confident to go out there, sell whatever it is, this brand, it's somebody's responsibility also to make sure that this brand, you know, stands firm and then, you know, it's good, it's positioned properly. You understand? Now, whose core responsibility?
The organization itself, the owner of those, the stakeholders, the CEOs, those that built that brand. They have to get the internal stakeholders, which is you, the employee, to believe in the product and services that is being sold. That way, when you go out, you represent it in confidence. But if you just open a business, for me, my business, Masterclass Consulting, I have other consultants that work under me. If I don't get them to believe my mission and the vision that I have, how can you expect them to sell? How can you get them to represent? How can you get them to be so confident when they're marketing your brand? It starts with the owner or the one that actually created that vision or started that brand, the company, and they in turn get their internal stakeholders to see and be confident about that product and service. So that way you in turn can market to your external customer. To get them to believe in why they need to be watching Max TV.
That's great. So then let's come back to the conversation. Let's start it again. Okay, now so let's go to someone who wants to start up a business. Obi pese or share business biase. And business now or starting. The question one, I have two. One is that do I need to start thinking about brand? In the startup. I was saying how to position myself when it comes to branding and sana adwuma na me pese me bie no na na say me bie adwuma ni wia you know na fe madwene how to brand you know yafa say me pese me kokko to ntoma you know pese me bie ntoma yi store bisa ohun bikwa akotu niama diaba now I was say me dwene brand na ho ansa say bia company number be you know me position me ho brand wise and I say me share adwuma na se a and branding no and our positioning no enemu.
The first one. Before you open any business, again, remember branding, positioning is the value that you're trying to bring to the customer you're trying to sell to, right?
Okay.
So if you're wanting to sell cloth, that's a passion that you've always had, right? Okay. You yourself know you've been in the industry for probably quite some time, or maybe if not, you just like wearing cloth, right?
Okay.
But you need to further do your research and find out, okay, the cloth, what's the history behind it? Okay, the market I'm wanting to sell to, who are my target audience? Who are my competitors? Because everybody's selling cloth, right? But what's going to make me different? Is it going to be the Lisco cloth that I sell? Is it going to be a particular brand that entices my customers to come to me based on my segments? So pretty much to make it short, when you are starting a brand or creating a vision for your company, it has to be on paper. Okay, and with business owners, look, I've dealt with, when I used to advise business clients that have been in business for maybe 30 years. Wow. They've never written a business plan. They just go as they may. Okay, I have some clients that just started business. They don't have a business plan, and you have some business clients that know, okay, I need to write down. Because see, these same questions that you're asking me, the customer is going to want to know. So tell me why I need to buy your product. You need to be able to give that value proposition. This is why you need to purchase this cloth. Okay. It's unique. I purchased it from this makeup Legos. The beading material, as you can see, as is different from other carriers. You have to believe in the product before you sell to me. And when you're starting a business, you need to write it on paper. Everything that we're talking about in terms of branding is in the business plan. Who you are, who you're selling to, what's your competitive advantage, what's your purpose, why do I need to purchase from you? What your organizational structure is, the team that you're wanting to bring on board. Do they have the experience based on the brand or the product that you're trying to sell? What is your finance looking like? Again, the cost to satisfy a customer, the convenience. Are you going to make it a one-stop shop? What other products and services, so continuity, besides selling in Tumano, what other services are you looking to sell in the future? Do you want to sell slippers? Do you want to sell bags? To entice your customer If I come to your store, it's not just cloth that I'm purchasing. I can also purchase slippers. I can purchase handbags. I can purchase bracelets to go with that intuma that I'm buying from you.
Is it mostly about a vision and mission? You know, it's falling into like, okay, what is my vision? You know, and what is my mission? It's falling into that for me a little bit. You know, it's falling into that for me a little bit, because then the brand, the whole idea is that, you know, I need to be unique. There's something about me that gets everybody. Me ton adie e wo se obi a eba me ho e na so ba me ho a ni obenya no obesan ko obeba biem sa na ye ka no e na se eduru baabi na me de niam bi beka wa, like you said, me tontoma ebi a me betontoma no wo Julia ho a me pempaboa bia we, but because Julia anton paboa no I have to go somewhere else. So then along the way, no, business ni enyini no na me dwene ni a metimi di aka eyen toma na me ton no ti ebeduru baabi no obi wura ho a onya bibia mu a sa na ye ka no on say me translate it after na me metias you after na me metias you know, but that's good. I'm learning a lot.
But
that's good.
What you're saying, how much cash injection is there for you to put in branding, especially when you're a startup business?
Again, it depends on the type of industry, but branding is pretty much even just your logo in general is your branding.
So there's not enough cash injection that
well, as a business, you start small and you build your way up. It's not everything that's going to be, but branding could be me. I'm my own branding. I may not have a logo, but I'm telling you, my name is Julia Kunadu with Masterclass Consulting. I provide XYZ of services. This is the vision I bring, but the mission that I bring, but the vision is to be a global ambassador, to be ambassador for customer and employee experience within Ghana and outside of Ghana, within Africa in general. So with branding, it's not necessarily yes, there's financial that could go into it, but for those that may not have that cash injection at the time, it starts with you.
What you stand for.
You are your own brand, what you stand for. And you have to believe in that product and services before your customer can believe in it. You understand? A business card, how much does it take to make it? That's branding, with your logo on it. Even if I don't, just what I said in myself, it's my brand. I'm promoting my company.
So we need to know, again, another way, if I get what you're saying, so another way is that you said something that was really educative. It's really something I said, because you said something like, you need to know about what it is that you're selling. You know, say you just don't get up and say, oh, me koton to ma ba beton. Now me kwako yi curtains about beton. You have to you have to have some passion for it.
Yeah.
You have to have some knowledge about it. And then you can have passion about it, but you have to get to know more about what it is that you're doing. Because like you said, even if you don't have a call card, you should be able to express yourself better in a way. Say, lady into me ya waton you nim nia waton ya papa metal like that. And I say, as for Julia, when I go there, I'm actually going to get the best of advice when it comes to customer, you know, retainment or then customer service or employee yada yada, you know, because she comes out to tell you what she's doing. Yen talk about reference. You know, let's talk about reference. Let's talk about people building up their CVs. Mastati Ejuma, you know, as a part of the, you know, the brand positioning experience. Your CVs and your reference, is it also part of it? Because maybe the customer service, the next time I step out, I say, hey, if you need, you know, one or two things about how to, let's say when I get to a company and then I see some BB being koye and then maybe probably the CEO is a friend and like I'm complaining about it and the person would, if you complain about something, you should have a solution, you know, and then the person asks you, and this is what I'm having issues with. Oh, if you should go to Julia, she can help you. That's reference. It's a part of the brand positioning.
Yeah, so I'm very glad that you said that. So it's testimonials, right?
Okay, testimonials.
So, for instance, the example that you gave with CV, if I'm going to look for a job or if someone wants to get a reference, you know, wants to check my reference, it's about my past experience or my past, how do I say, I'm losing my train of, it's about the past work that I've done, right? And whatever is on that paper within, you as an employer could look at it, but within the first 0 to at least 2 minutes, I should be able to sell myself to you.
Okay.
And everything that I've been able to tell you is what's on that CV. It's the same thing with a business plan. A business plan is like 10 to 15, about minimum 10 pages. But there's an executive summary that within 1 page that you should be able to read that tells you anything and everything you need to know about my brand that I'm selling. Okay. And you mentioned in terms of referencing. Yes, those references should be able to give great feedback. Yes, Julia Kunadu Osam has worked here. This is what she did. She's excellent within customer service, what have you. But your CV and your business plan is what sells you as well. What I just verbally communicated to you is information that may be on my bio or my CV. And it's also experience. I wanted to hone in back on the Intuma example, right?
Yes.
In order to sell Intuma too as well, to get the customer to buy into it, any product or service that you are trying to sell, you yourself have to experience it. If you don't experience, if it's food, you don't taste it. If it's Intuma that you're selling, you don't wear, you don't. How are you going to be able to sell to your customer? If there's particular questions they ask, how are you able to answer? You should be able to buy into the product and be able to test the own product and service that you are selling, so that way you can give your testimonial to the customer.
Meaning, if you are in a food business, a restaurant business, so that you would know what it is that you're selling to people or you're delivering to people.
Most definitely.
So you have to be a part of the company to know that much, to be able to hold on to your brand. Because some of the beverages we grew up with, I don't want to mention names of, some beverages and stuff. Maybe I in the bottles and stuff. And, we keep buying them. No, let me even say this then. This funny part about where we actually call one tissue paper with one name. Oh, sorry, I don't know. Toothpaste.
With one name.
You go to the shop and instead of you saying, oh, me talk toothpaste, you use just one brand. Meanwhile, you're not looking for probably that brand, you're looking for a different brand. But then you're still using that brand to communicate. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
Yes. So how does that happen? How are people able to conquer to get to that level where I want to buy into me, but medintuma we dina ntuma we.
Well, maybe that particular consumer is stuck in their mind because of the experience that they had with that particular brand, the toothpaste. What did it do for them? They maybe they want Pepsodents because they've used it for so long. It's something that's been a part of their childhood. They know, so they use it. It makes their breath very fresh.
Okay.
But then maybe their mother sent them out to go and buy, I don't know,
Colgate or something.
Yes,
Close
but
up.
it's because of the experience. Again, it's the experiences that the customer remembers.
Okay.
Customer experiences that allows them to refer back to the product or service. So to your point, you're looking for a particular juice, but when you go to the supermarket, you say you want cereals. What is the experience that you have with that juice?
So the experience is important.
Customer experiences are very important. Because those same experiences is what allow the customers to come back. To your example, Pepsodents is the experience that they had with, and they've used it for so long, and they might like that it's quality, but yet they've been sent to go and buy something different. They can't remember the name because they haven't experienced.
So they use that one.
Yeah.
Okay, before Alex come in, then my last one, and then Alex can, he keeps
I'm enjoying listening from this side.
Join us. Don't enjoy. Join us.
Listening
join us. Don't enjoy. What I'm saying is, at a point, I'm going to all industries so that because of your Julia be another brain, may be someone in now now I'm going into the lounge business, the pop business and everything. At a point, Uber will say, oh, this is Baby's Lounge. For a while, a bedroom baby Baby's Lounge now. What's a son dino? Why in a Dapa's Lounge? We've been in this country where people change names. As a part of the branding, and they think that it gets stale, like packaging. I'm talking about packaging.
Yeah.
A certain product first, na say na. ya chichiro wana ya rapino. I feel honum sa they go and they make so much noise about it, about packaging almost sasano. Because I was like, okay, why are you making so much noise about it? You know, but they make so much noise about the packaging and the new look. Probably they change the bottle, they change the tube, they change that is a part of the brand as well.
Very much part of branding. See, as a business, you can't be stagnant. You always have to be ahead of the game. You always need to determine what your industry is doing, what technology is doing, how the economy is doing. Like you mentioned, packaging. Packaging is branding. It sells itself too as well. So you may be using a particular packaging for the last 2 to 3 years, but with innovation and things that have changed along the way, you need to change it up to attract. See, with branding, it's all about the eye. What attracts the eye of the beholder, the person that is buying from you? What's going to attract them? Talking, yes, is also good, but it's also about what they can feel, what they can touch, what attracts them. The food may not be all that good, but the packaging alone can sell itself.
You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
All right. Now let's talk about research. How much do one need to put in research in order to get their product out there?
As much that it's needed to get your product and service continue to flow. You need to be educated all the time on the products and services that you're offering. Even though you're passionate about it, you know, times are always changing. Innovation is changing, technology. You need to always be ahead of the game. So it's always
research
good
also comes with cash
research
injection.
Research. Oh yeah.
It's more of
Most
cash
definitely.
injection.
If you need cash injection, you need to determine to find out which financial institution or investor is going to buy into your product and why. Or not even more importantly, you need to do research and find out which investor or financial institutions in sync with your vision or your branding.
And how do you go about that? How do you go about that? You're a startup, and you probably just use the Intuma, example now. How do you go about your research to make sure that people can actually whatever you put out there can be effective?
So, like I'm saying, first you need to determine what type of Intuma are you wanting to sell. Maybe getting into the fashion industry, speaking with some moguls that have been in the industry for quite some time, to have them also educate you. Maybe going to some accreditation school to get more information on fashion design or the Intuma that you're trying to sell. And also researching your competitors too as well. Those that have sold Intuma in the marketplace, where did they really get their Intuma from? Why? All that is research that goes into it, just little by little, that continues to build your brand.
Wow. And let's look at consumer behavior. I mean, you've been in the States, you've been in Ghana. In a startup like that, how do you also combine both? Probably, maybe you sell in Cape Coast. It's your business is doing very well in Cape Coast, but probably the customers right here in Accra are totally different. How do you match that so that at the end of the day, your product can go?
Again, that goes back to your target audience, okay? You need to determine what, in fact, your particular target audience you're trying to cater to. What attracts them to buy? So in Tumano that you're looking to buy, sell in Cape Coast, there may be one particular Ntuma that they like. Or you've seen them walking around, or they've gone to restaurants or hotels, and you've seen there's a particular Ntuma. That should be your catch into determining, okay, this is what who I need to sell to. It all begins with the target audience, and also, you mentioned consumer behavior.
Yeah.
I said it earlier, the cost to satisfy, the convenience for the customer. What is their want and need? That's the first thing. What does the customer really want? What do they need? So what the need may be for Cape Coast may not be the same need here in Accra. So you need to determine and differentiate that first.
Can you be disciplined in that side where my question is, one thing you said about improving brand positioning is about listening to your customers. I heard you say that, listening to your customers. Customers have a lot to say, that they have a lot to say, they have a lot to complain about. I am a customer. I'm also sometimes found in the other side. And, what do you think about that thing? Customer is always right. Okay, and now, modia mo ton ade no wo kra ye ba kra ye bre and den and ye nia bi kumase ha na ka ye papa wo bie shop ni bi kumase mko bie kumase wo mama. That thing. So customer, listening to what they want, what they need, like you said, listening to them to be able to move on. Must you always? Is the customer always right?
That's what the customer is always right, but the customer is not always right.
Okay, now you.
The customer is always right, but in times the customer is not always right. So what I say is that complaints turn into resolutions, and complaints is what better helps your business.
Okay.
Okay? Because when customers are complaining to you, it's something that they're passionate about. It's something that you did not satisfy for them. And you have a customer too as well, that there's nothing that you can do or say that's going to satisfy them. And it's up to you whether to continue to retain that customer or to let them go. If they're not profitable to your business and it's just complaining, you can let them go. It's just like breaking up in a relationship if you need to part ways. You can part ways with your customers. But getting back to your question, the customer complaints and feedback is what allows your business to thrive. It's what allows you to make changes in your business, okay? You spoke about research. It's not necessarily just reading. It's about actually going out there on the ground and finding out what works, what doesn't work. Surveys, getting questions back from consumers. This ntoma that I'm selling, what do you think about the color? Beat no. If you say fe, would you think you would wear it? That is getting feedback from the customer and allows you to know that, you know what, this market that I'm trying to sell to, this probably would be a good brand, because based on the feedback that I'm receiving, it seems like it's something that could work.
Ads, adverts, ads, promos.
Yeah, marketing,
Okay.
branding, yeah.
That's great. So it's also good.
Yes.
Okay, that aside. Now let me talk about niche, where you find out that, okay, now I have this product, but I have a target in the market. I have a target in the market. I want to niche this product. And to my way, manya mubia. And to my way, manya mubia. And to my way, I say, honomono, me yema asimesi free, ope bikra, men fam mam. Me yema nkrofrubi. You want to niche, people complain on the then yama boarding, on the ton yama mancrofusi. And also,
That's your target audience. So
Okay.
you as the business owner, the brand that you're selling to, determine who your market share, who your target audience is. You can't sell to everyone, and not everyone's going to be interested in your product. Yes, they may buy in Tuma, but they may buy from somewhere else that is more convenient for them because of location and because of cost. So this example that you're using, this particular lady, she knows that she's selling this in Tuma for a specific target audience because she knows that they will buy from her, they live in her area, or even if not, she delivers to them and implements a cost to it. So you have to define who is your target audience. You can't sell to everybody. Everyone is not going to like your product or service. So you need to determine, who do I want to sell to? Who exactly am I
I
want
have
to
too
sell
many
to?
questions here, but probably you'd have to put Julia's social media handles and stuff on so she can answer those questions. Because a bit of crime is supposed to be so.
Oh, this one maybe sir.
You know, so what's your social media handle though? You know, if we want to get to you.
Well, I'm on Instagram, Lady Julia.
Okay.
Kunadu Osam. I'm on there, and then I also have my email, my contact information too as well.
Okay, so when we go on social media like Instagram,
Instagram, yes.
it's Lady Julia.
Yeah, Lady
at
Julia.
Lady Julia.
Kunadu Osam, yes.
Together?
Yes, all together.
Okay, so the Julia is Julia.
Sorry, Lady Ju Kunadu.
Okay, Lady
That's
Ju.
Uh-huh.
So Lady Ju.
Kunadu.
Okay,
Yes.
Konadu.
Yes, yes.
Make catch 'em.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
All right.
I'm also on LinkedIn too as well, and then I also have a contact phone number along with email address too as well.
Brilliant. I think, you know.
Yeah, my final question, can a brand overdo it? Like to be in your face too much?
Yes, and that can easily turn the customer away. So you have to be careful, protective about the brand that you're trying to implicate or you're trying to implement in the market. Because if you do too much, some consumers like that, but if you do a bit too much, it can also turn your customer off.
Wow. Julia Kunadu Osam.
So Lady Ju Kunadu is on Instagram. I'm going to follow, and so you can do that too. On our social media handles, it's going to be there. Maybe you missed a thing we said, or maybe a foul so man for when so you know, because it's going to be on the social media. But then you can get to her Instagram at Lady Ju, LadyJuKonadu at Lady Ju Kunadu. Okay, into Udu on most of the questions. Yet to me sending nama maybe send quickly before we end.
Oh,
So,
man.
and I hope that, you know, the conversation has helped you.